Yeah, dog. Welcome to Wreck to Riches. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, post notifications so you know when the drop is happening and you can be tuned in to the videos ASAP. Like and subscribe, drop a comment. Always remember, I'm not a financial advisor, not a professional. I'm just recording my cryptocurrency opinions and my journey, okay? And today I'm gonna tell you my truth. I'm gonna say the truth, but my truth about Richard Heart and pulsechain. All right, and remember, this is coming from a true OG. I got into Hex December of 2019, and I bought all of January of 2020. All right, Hex did a great thing for me in my life. With that being said, it doesn't mean that I have to sweep everything under the rug and be in denial about everything that's happened throughout the years and what has developed with pulsechain. Okay, Richard Heart has saved a lot of people that have listened to him when it comes to learning about, centralized exchanges, not to leave your money on there, not your coins, not your crypto. Cryptocurrency, blockchain was not invented for middlemen, meaning giving them your keys, giving them your crypto, a centralized exchange like Coinbase or Kraken, not to buy into Celsius, calling people out like Alex Mashinsky, even the Winklevoss brothers who have lost people's money in their staking platform. He's called out every scammer there is. He's been really good for the space. But what's really happened is the teacher has taught us so well that it's hard to not be distracted by how he's been and maybe how he should have been the entire time versus what he was. And what I mean by that is he's taught us all these things, and now he's showing that pulsechain is going truly decentralized by removing the PLSX app website, creating these zip files so you can do it on your own in a decentralized fashion on your own PC, backup sites. He's done that for even the Block Explorer. He's done that for the bridge. Gone decentralized across the board, from PulseX to the bridge to even the Blockchain Explorer for pulsechain as a whole, which is great to teach people how to operate that way. I think it is great. And he's always talked about how pulsechain solves this issue that Ethereum has, obviously the gas fees. Pulsechain solves this when it comes to Bitcoin. And when it comes to Hex, he's always talked about the OA address. It's never sold a Hex. It's never sold a single Hex. It holds the majority, a massive amount of the supply of Hex, and the OA address is the same thing with pulsechain and PulseX. They've never sold. And he compares that to Satoshi. When Satoshi owned majority of Bitcoin in a wallet, which never sold, right? Which was the best time to get into Bitcoin, when Satoshi owned majority of the supply. So I've always agreed with all those things. But Satoshi Nakamoto, or whoever, was linked to Bitcoin, where we can say, hey, that's obviously Satoshi, never came out publicly and talked about Bitcoin and bragged about the Satoshi Nakamoto wallets. Never sold a single Bitcoin. That never happened. Where Richard came out, and whether he pretends or really isn't the owner of the OA address for both Hex and now pulsechain and PulseX, he's come out and said it's never sold. And everyone's like point blank, like it's obvious it's you. But the fact that we think, and we know, Hexagon OGs know it's him, that is a huge form of centralization. When a person that we're aware of is the face of a token, the founder of a token, flat out, we know he owns the supply. Centralized exchanges even think that's too centralized for them. They're like, that's sketchy. This is why Hex never made it on a centralized exchange on big ones, because of the amount of supply that the OA addresses own. Now, it's been a very good actor, right? It doesn't sell doesn't do any harm to the community. But that is not decentralization at all. So if he wants to preach his true decentralization and go down that road, which he has, you got to explain that to the people, and he has. No doubt about that. He has. But I think what's going on here is I'm starting to realize how centralized things really are with pulsechain and hex, because without Richard Hart and without the OA address, hex doesn't do what it did. Now, it did at 10,000x. That pump dumped pretty quick. I mean, it didn't last days. It didn't last hours. It hit a top and it started to trend down pretty quick within a few days and never bounced back up. It just went down and then kept going down over the course of a year and to where we see it today. Now, what we're looking at today is the aftermath of a huge centralized pump where it was manipulated and controlled by the OA, pulling and adding liquidity the way it did. If you guys know the history behind the LP and hex and how that helped, it really is looking more and more centralized. It just does. I don't have that feeling of any decentralization with Richard Hart products, because right now, for the past several months since pulsechain launched, Richard has gone silent. Now, he's recently been tweeting a lot. He made a voice video. We all saw that, but we speculate he's been very quiet because of the SEC case, right? But you start to notice the expectations from the community and what's actually happening with the price of hex, pulsechain, and PulseX, that it's an entirely centralized way of thinking where everyone's like, well, just wait till Richard Hart tweets, or not even tweets, wait for his first live stream. Imagine when Richard Hart live streams again, what the price is going to do. It's all based on what Richard's going to do. Is Richard going to live stream? Is Richard going to beat the SEC? Is Richard going to settle with the SEC? Right now, Richard is extremely hard to find for them as far as to even serve on papers. A lot of people speculated that the outrage marketing and the purchase of the Enigma Diamond and the twerking and all that and all the spending he did for the luxury items was outrage marketing to bring in new eyes and to actually even draw in the SEC to take him on, to prove, he could. Who knows if that's true, but he bought the Enigma Diamond. That's in the SEC court case file. It's a written document about the Enigma Diamond. It's the world's largest diamond. He bragged about buying it. But think about it. Everything evolves around what's going to happen with Richard. And when it comes to outrage marketing, he didn't need to do that. I think he's had an issue with his identity of who he wants to be for the people to love him. He thought people loved the outrage marketing. And then pulsechain came, he's like, oh, I'm humbled, Richard. He seems lost. But back to the Enigma Diamond. You could have been humble the whole time. He didn't have to buy the world's largest diamond and make it seem like he used sacrifice money, even if he really didn't. There was no point behind that. Look at Elon Musk. All right? Richard Hart goes out and buys the world's largest diamond. Elon Musk, if not one of the richest man on the planet, sells all his real estate in California, all his real estate across the country, and moves into the world's smallest Tesla house on site of the Tesla headquarters. Sold all his real estate and lived in the world's smallest house. That's humble. And that's a true leader. But he's not running a cryptocurrency. Elon is a pump and dumper. Well, he's more of a pumper. I don't know if he's dumping. He really don't need to. But he pumps tokens. Just like Richard. If Richard comes out and live streams, the whole community is going to be, oh, Richard live stream, pump, we're going to sack price. That's all they have to rely on at this point. The technology hasn't taken over and disrupted on its own. Bitcoin didn't need a face or Satoshi Nakamoto twerking, buying diamonds, coming out and revealing itself. It's done what it's done over the years. It has become gone from 10 cents all the way to $65,000 plus, and where it's at today, roughly $37,000. It didn't need Satoshi going out there and fighting the SEC. It's truly decentralized. It may suck, but it doesn't have a face to it. It doesn't have a face. Bitcoin doesn't have a CEO acting a fool. We're not waiting for Satoshi to settle an agreement with the SEC. We're all waiting for what Richard's going to do. And that court case has gotten pushed to December, to all the way to even January. I think there's dates I'm hearing. We're all at the mercy of what this one guy is going to do. What he's going to say. What moves he's going to make. Without these things resolving or happening, the price will continue to pump and dump and then go lower. And then go pump and then pump and then dump and go back down and go lower and go sideways and go up and down and not go back to sack price until this centralized figure, Richard Hart, either wins the case and we have some positive sentiment and good things happen, or he loses, or he goes to jail, or something happens. There's too much relying on one person. That is not decentralization. I don't care if all of pulsechain and Hex and how to operate staking has gone decentralized. You can do it on your own. You know, you're the network, blah, blah, blah. When you got all the hopium and all the pulsechain world and community relying on this guy, until we don't have to give a shit whether he's dead or alive, God forbid he died, I don't want that to happen. But until that point, what the fuck are we doing? That is not decentralization. Bitcoin wins on that front. It really does. And I don't give a fuck what pulsechain solves. I'm sitting here waiting for this motherfucker to do something to pump my bag. And if he doesn't do what I want him to do, it's not going to do well. We have too much stress, and the communities are at war. They're trying to hang on and be RH maxis. I've been in before most of those clowns have been in, and I'll even admit myself, there's more opportunities out there until the dust settles to make money, and then you can go back, hopefully before things go parabolic, if it ever does with pulsechain. Because I'll tell you what, if he drags this out, pulsechain is going to miss the bear market, or pulsechain is going to miss the bull market. Pulsechain will be in a bear market during a bull market if the SEC and Richard Hart don't come together and figure shit out. And that's centralization for you. One man. Satoshi never did this. We don't even know who the fuck he is. And look how successful and disruptive the technology's been. He didn't have to brag about the world's biggest airdrop. He didn't buy an Enigma Diamond. He damn sure didn't shake his ass on camera. And he didn't brag about self-help books and this and that. This is weird. This is fucking weird. Till next time. Yeah, dog.